The book selected for review by the members of Group 3 was The New One Minute Manager, which was co-authored by Ken Blanchard, who has his PhD, and Spencer Johnson, who has his MD. And this was published in 2015 by William Morrow, an imprint of HarperCollins Publishers. The book is a revision of the co-author's The 1 Minute Manager, which was published in 1982. A little bit about the authors. Ken Blanchard, who has his PhD, is considered one of the most influential leadership experts in the world and has co-authored 60 books. Those books have been translated into over 40 languages and have reached a combined sales total of over 21 million copies. In 2005, Blanchard was inducted into Amazon's Hall of Fame as one of the top 2 best-selling authors of all time. He has received numerous leadership awards, and with his wife, Margie, founded the Ken Blanchard Companies, a leading international training and consulting firm. Additional information is available at www.kenblanchard.com. Spencer Johnson, who is his MD, has co-authored 15 books that have sold over 50 million copies and have been translated into 47 languages. Those books included 13 New York Times bestsellers. Johnson has often been considered the best there is at taking complete subjects and linking them with simple, workable solutions. Additional information is available at www.spencer.johnson.com. The New 1 Minute Manager. At the beginning of the book, the author explains how so many managers fall under one of 2 categories. Number 1, the tough manager, and number 2, the nice manager. With the tough manager, the organization seems to win, but the employees lose. With a nice manager, employees feel good, but the organization suffers. What is a new 1 minute manager? Perhaps the best illustration of such a manager is the quote found on page 51 of the book. The best 1 minute I spend is the one I invest in people. Today, leadership is much more of a partnership, and management encompasses many aspects, none more important than communication. Quote, the most effective managers manage themselves and the people they work with so that both the people and the organization profit from their presence. The new 1 minute manager believed people worked best when they felt good about themselves. It's not just the quantity of the work done, it is also the quality of the work. When it comes to decision making, managers should strive to be facilitators as opposed to participants. The new 1 minute manager believed people and results went hand in hand, and it was through people that produced results. Essentially, there should be a balanced approach that focused on results and people. Some words to live by from the book. When managing a team, empower your employees and encourage them to create solutions on their own. If you can't tell me what you'd like to be happening, you don't have a problem yet. A problem only exists if there is a difference between what is actually happening and what you desire to be happening. 1 minute goals. The book lists a series of 1 minute goals that will help a manager perform their duties. How to do so includes: number 1, set 3 to 5 goals for each employee. Number 2, ensure that the goals are observable and measurable. Number 3, keep the goals at 250 words or less. Number 4, review those goals on a consistent basis, and after the review, look at what you are doing and see if it matches the goals. And number 5, do not wait for the annual review. The goal should be set at the beginning of the task assigned, and the manager should work side by side with the employee, acting as a facilitator in the process. It is incumbent on the employee to monitor their own work by checking these goals to see how they are doing and if they are reaching their goals. In a way, they are managing themselves. When a problem arises, the employee is given the tools to come up with a solution himself or herself. They do not need to call the manager to explain the problem, as that is seen as complaining. Instead, they should call when they've thought through the problem and have come up with a viable solution to it. Why 1-minute goals work. The authors used an analogy of bowling to describe an employee's motivation level. At work, people can often be unmotivated, but at home, their behavior is often completely the opposite. For example, a disgruntled employee would celebrate when they threw a strike in bowling. The reason they were excited and happy had to do with the fact they knew what to aim for and observed the results of their efforts immediately. Oftentimes, managers fail to recognize the fact that employees may not know what is expected of them. They need feedback, and it is the number one motivator of people. The 1-minute goals are like the pins in bowling and allow the employee to have a clear understanding of what is expected of them. It is a short, quick list that they can easily reference and remember. This will allow them to check their own performance and easily gauge how well they are doing. 1-minute praisings. Another concept presented by the authors is the importance of 1-minute praisings, which should occur right after an employee does a good job. Just take 60 seconds to praise their work and be specific. Deliver the praise directly after the actual performance of a task. Do not wait until it is time for an annual review or bonus. The reason to do so is because individuals usually work harder when they feel appreciated, and the delivery of praise helps them reach their full potential. As the authors say, a manager's goal is to build confidence in people to help us get better results. In addition, as the manager, you should be consistent with the feedback, even when things may not be going right at home in your personal life. The praising does not last long and usually lasts no longer than 1 minute. Thus, this style of managing is not time intrusive. This process allows the employee to help build confidence in themselves, and they know that when they get a praise, it's earned. Why 1-minute praisings work. In order for the praisings to be effective, it is imperative that they are merited and sincere, or people will feel like the feedback is insincere. The authors use the analogy of a kid learning to walk and the parent disciplining them or chastising them each time they failed and were unable to walk. When attention and praise is given to small, incremental improvement, the child catches on to the importance of the task and eventually learns how to walk after a lot of trial and error. At work, when an employee sets up a series of smaller goals that are achievable, the employee is more likely to succeed. In addition, if the manager gives praise to the employee for doing something right at the beginning, they will be encouraged with their progress and be motivated to continue their work to achieve the goal. The key is to catch this at the beginning, and this is where the manager should be more visible or present. They should not wait for the employee to do something wrong. A lot of managers focus on the negative and wait for an employee to do something wrong before they give feedback. The opposite should be true. 1-minute redirects. The third and final concept involves 1-minute redirects, which take place when a mistake has happened, and the manager wants to help the employee get back on track and achieve the goals. To do so, a manager would, number 1, confirm the facts. Number 2, reprimand immediately after a mistake is made, and be very specific. Number 3, comments should be made at the behavior, not at the person. Number 4, remind the employee of their own worth and the valuable role they play in the organization. Number 5, remember, when the reprimand is over, it's over. After providing the redirect, there should be a pause given to allow the person an opportunity to recognize a concern caused by the mistake and reflect on its potential effect toward others and the organization. In providing redirects, the employees will feel any mistakes are treated fairly and not with injustice. Redirects clear the air immediately and help avoid a buildup of animosity. Why 1-minute redirects work? A lot of managers make the mistake of allowing things to build up until an evaluation comes up. Then they dump every mistake onto the employee's lap and give a negative review. It's not an effective way to deal with issues or concerns. People do this in their personal lives as well, and it has similar results. If issues or mistakes are dealt with one at a time, then the employee will not be so overwhelmed and has a better chance of correcting the mistake or behavior. With this in mind, the authors advise that performance evaluation should be done continuously and not just once a year. When giving a redirect, the goal is to build the employee up and not tear them down. The redirect allows a manager to focus on the behavior, and it is not a personal attack, which prevents the immediate defensive reaction. At the same time, the employee who received the redirect should be concerned about what they did and understand the importance of not continuing to make the same mistake. The key with redirects is to understand that the employee is not the behavior, they are the person managing the behavior, meaning the performance is bad, but the person is good. Another key aspect is brought up in regard to the process, and that is the goals begin behaviors and consequences influence future behaviors. 1 minute redirects. The third and final concept involves 1 minute redirects, which take place when a mistake has happened and the manager wants to help the employee get back on track and achieve the goals. To do so, a manager would, number 1, confirm the facts. Number 2, reprimand immediately after a mistake is made and be very specific. Number 3, comments should be made at the behavior, not at the person. Number 4, remind the employee of their own worth and the valuable role they play in the organization. And number 5, remember, when the reprimand is over, it's over. After providing the redirect, there should be a pause given to allow the person an opportunity to recognize the concern caused by the mistake and reflect on its potential effect toward others and the organization. In providing redirects, the employees will feel any mistakes are treated fairly and not with injustice. Redirects clear the air immediately and help avoid a buildup of animosity. Why 1 minute redirects work? A lot of managers make the mistake of allowing things to build up until an evaluation comes up. Then they dump every mistake onto the employee's lap and give a negative review. It's not an effective way to deal with issues or concerns. People do this in their personal lives as well, and it has similar results. If issues or mistakes are dealt with one at a time, then the employee will not be so overwhelmed and has a better chance of correcting the mistake or behavior. With this in mind, the authors advise the performance evaluation should be done continuously and not just once a year. When giving a redirect, the goal is to build the employee up and not tear them down. The redirect allows the manager to focus on the behavior, and it is not a personal attack, which prevents the immediate defensive reaction. At the same time, the employee who received the redirect should feel concerned about what they did and understand the importance of not continuing to make the same mistake. The key with redirects is to understand that the employee is not the behavior, they are the person managing the behavior, meaning performance is bad, but the person is good. Another key aspect is brought up in regard to the process, and that is the goals begin behaviors and consequences influence future behaviors. The new 1 minute manager's game plan illustrates how the three concepts smoothly flow to reach a successful conclusion. It is important at the start to let people know up front what you're going to do to help them succeed in their work. This leads to 1 minute goals. The elements of such goals are: number 1, making it clear what the goals are. Number 2, showing what good behavior looks like. Number 3, putting each goal on one written page. Number 4, quickly and frequently reviewing goals. Number 5, encouraging people to notice what they are doing and see if it matches their goals. And number 6, if they do not match, urging them to change what they are doing in order to win. If the goals are achieved, you win, and this leads to 1 minute praisings. The concept that involves praising the behavior, doing so soon and with specifics, telling the employee how good you feel about their work, pausing to let the employee feel good as well, and encouraging them to keep up the good work. This results in the employee proceeding more successfully. However, if the goals are not achieved, you lose. To help the employee win, the 1 Minute Manager can utilize 1 minute redirects. In redirects, the manager, number 1, reclarifies and agrees with the employees on goals. Number 2, confirms what happened. Number 3, describes mistakes soon. Number 4, says how concerned you feel. Number 5, pauses to let employees feel their own concern. Number 6, tells them that they are better than the mistake and that you value them. And number 7, realize that when it's over, it's over. The results of redirects are to proceed with better performance. Evaluation of the book. The book was a quick, easy read, and it brought up several good points in regard to managing. There was a clear focus from the authors of the book in regard to the managing style they wanted to convey. There were sound strategies given in relation to setting goals for employees, giving praise and negative feedback to employees. We would recommend the book to others, but it should be noted, the book is not an all-encompassing how-to on how to manage.